Good evening, and welcome to the Cardiff City phone-in. You thought it was top of the pops with that intro, but it's not. And we got an illustrious panel of Bluebirds tonight. Well, Mark and Nigel are in anyway.
We look like the Proclaimers have become a trio, don't we?
Yeah. We coordinated the glasses anyway.
We'll take requests if you want. 5,000 miles is our piece, and we're expecting Jeff in a little bit later. Fingers crossed. He might have been delayed, but good evening, gentlemen, and good evening, one and all. Welcome along. Hope you all had a lovely Christmas, and we're into the first Monday of a brand new year. Probably with a nice big smile on our face. We were having a quick chat off air before we kicked off, and most unusual for the Bluebirds to come through Christmas virtually undefeated, Nige.
Well, are undefeated, yeah, but nearly 4 straight wins, wasn't it? So, yeah, that's a fantastic Christmas because, as we were saying, we're used to Cardiff having really mixed results, and most of the League One teams didn't they? We were about the only team, I think, who got 10 points over Christmas. I don't think anyone else did achieve that. So, yeah, magnificent. And the gap between us and, everyone from 4th downwards now is particularly large, isn't it? It looks like you can cull 2 from 3 from promotion as things stand. And I just feel the only thing that's going to get in Cardiff's way now is complacency. I think they're just looking stronger and better by the game. But, it's just very promising. We just got to enjoy these times.
We can't grumble. It's most unlike the city to come through Christmas. Mark, it's good to have you on. Thanks for your time again. And I hope you had a great Christmas up there. You missed the game yesterday, but you've obviously been following things. And like you said, social networking is a great animal for catching up with what went on the pitch straight away. And you've probably seen a few highlights anyway. But let's go back to. I was thinking back to the last phone-in, probably from Boxing Day onwards. I'm thinking maybe. So it would have been the Exeter game, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Sure, I've only got vague memories of that. We've had so many games in a short space of time, haven't we? It's very hard to go back to Exeter 1-0 that day, Mark.
So firstly, Happy New Year. Hope you had a good Christmas too. That's the last time I'm going to say that, by the way, because I have a window.
I bet someone will get you tomorrow. Someone will say the same thing.
I've been back to work today. And I said that's 7th a week. I said once it's a week, I'm done with it. But as Nigel said, I think some 10 points and 12. I particularly thinking more the Wickham game where I left, and we were saying a bit earlier that a little frustrated with that game. But actually, on the whole, you look at it and saying if we'd have been offered 10 points and 12 before the Christmas period, I think it was 4 games in 10 days. With not the biggest squad, you'd take that every day of the week, and we're finding ways to win. We're not smashing teams, we probably could be, but we're not needing to. And having missed yesterday's, where I was baffled on social media to see 82% possession and 1-0 with 17 shots. I was thinking they're going to be going crazy on social media. But actually everybody felt really comfortable with it and saying, well, actually, we could have scored 4 or 5, but we didn't need to. We took the 3 points. They've got a week's rest now. A really positive Christmas. Dare I say, maybe a few additions to come in over the next couple of weeks and set us up nicely for 2026.
Back to the games yesterday. Just thinking of the Stevenage game, and their manager caught my eye. Where I don't know if you remember, we beat them 2-1 down here, and their manager said that they were robbed that day. I don't know what game he was watching that particular day, but I wouldn't say we were robbed, Nige.
No, we wouldn't.
Or they were robbed.
No, they weren't robbed at all. The interesting thing, I think, what we're starting to see down at Cardiff City Stadium now is there's 2 ways teams will go at us. We'll either have, like we saw with Orient and Doncaster, they had a right go at us, made a game of it, and we managed to get past both 4-3, didn't we? Or as I think we've seen in the last 3 home games of Exeter, Stevenage, and particularly Wigan, you know, it's not just parking the bus; it's putting the whole bus shelter in front of it. The bus park, everything, isn't it? What were Wigan playing on yesterday? Was it 910? I think I don't even know what the formation was, but you know. Yeah, of course we want to see more goals, and maybe for all the possession we have and the crosses and the corners we should be getting more goals. But they are finding a way to break these teams down. It may only be a 1-0 as we saw yesterday, and it was 1-0 against Exeter, 2-1 Stevenage. We had to turn it around again, didn't we? But they are finding a way to do it, and that's the main thing at the moment. We're at that time of the season where, you know, we're putting in great performances, but results are all important now, and we're doing that, and that's great to see. Particularly the program we've had the last 5 or 6 weeks has been ridiculous. The amount of football we've had to play, and they've got results through that, which is tremendous.
Absolutely, yeah. And throw the cup games in there as well, and it was a chaotic December, wasn't it? It really was. You know.
Well, yeah, I did mention on a couple of the socials, they've played 11 games in 37 days, which is quite ridiculous. And the only other team that's done that in the whole country is Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace haven't won for a month, and they've fallen right down the table.
Yeah,
so it's credit to what Cardiff are doing, that they've played that much football and have actually strengthened their position at the top of the table. Played Chelsea and matched them, didn't they, for most of that game in a cup game as well, and showcasing themselves to the whole nation. So what they've achieved over the last 5 weeks is pretty fantastic, really. You know, it's we've been wanting to see football and performances and results like this for years, and we're finally seeing it, and it's we just got to treasure it.
Well, I think that's a great word, treasure, actually. And I was going to ask you, did we honestly at the start of the season when BBM came in, did we honestly expect to be top of the league, playing the style of football that we're playing, which we haven't seen down the city for donkey's years, have we? If ever.
Yeah.
And did we honestly expect to be where we are at this stage of the campaign? What do you think, Mark?
No, I mean, I don't want to say we're too big for the division, but we're a big club to be playing where we are. And frustratingly, we shouldn't be playing at this level.
No,
but unfortunately, we all know what's happened over the last 2 or 3 years, which has resulted in why we're in that division. But when we dropped down, I always felt that we were going to be a big club. Bolton are a big club, right? Got a friend up here. They should be playing at a higher level. So I was always a little bit cautious, and I felt maybe, and let's be honest, maybe 2 acquisitions with Kellyman coming in and Osho, who hasn't really set, and Trot, right? So not a huge influx of players, but a massive turnover of players. I absolutely didn't think we were going to be top of the division by 3 points. And as Nigel said in the preamble, a bit of a distance between us and third, fourth area, so no, absolutely not. And all credit to them, because they're finding different ways to win. We're coming back to the question about Exeter. It was a great ball to Robertson to run onto. We're finding ways to get goals against the way teams were playing, because Exeter were pressing quite high. They obviously spotted that at half time, knocked a couple of balls over the top, and we get the goal. Yeah. Stevenage, we went 1 down, and you think, well, we're playing really well. We go 1 down and we find a way to get 2 goals back and win 2-1. So we're finding lots of different ways to win. Could have won 2 or 3 at Wickham, but it's hard to criticise those mistakes. There were mistakes. Capacchio's is a mistake at the near post, and Colwell's a mistake to blast it at the bar. But they're young lads, and they will learn from that. And we're still 10 points from the 12. So I didn't expect us to be where we are, but it's great to be there. And we've got such a terrific foundation for the rest of the season. We just got to find a way to keep it going, because teams are afraid of coming to us now with the way Wigan played.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. Good comment there, and thanks, by the way, to everyone that's commenting already tonight. Tell us what you think about the job that BBM's doing for the city, and expectations for the year. Transfer acquisitions, maybe, fingers crossed, we could bring a couple in, and we'll touch on that a bit later on. Michael Evans, you'll probably see this on the screen. Will BBM be our manager at the end of the season? Oh, will he be poached by Manchester United or Celtic or Rangers or anyone else that's out there wanting a new manager? Nige.
Well, he's going to be linked with every job going, isn't he, in the top two divisions and maybe one or two in Europe as well. You know, that it's not unnoticed the job he's doing. And of course, you know, that Chelsea game that was seen by the whole nation on mainstream as well as the satellite TV, that also propelled him. But that's, you know, that's what you get with success. We don't get it that often at Cardiff, but when you do get it, you know, players get linked with other clubs in transfer windows. We're going to see that a lot in the rest of this month now. But I think the word from the club seems to be that nobody is leaving this window, and you know, apart from maybe the younger players going out on loan and the like. So let's just hope they're good to their word on that, because they've got to see the job through this season. I know I've said it on this show before, but as good as things are, I do believe it's a one-season hit to go up. If they don't go up this season, those players are going to leave us, most of that squad, and they've got to rebuild again. Will BBM want to be around next season in League One when his stock is now riding high? So, you know, as good as it is, they've just got to make sure they get this job done in the next 4 months, because, and if they do, then we can really move forward as a club.
Yeah, you're dead right there. Next month's going to be really critical as well, and we'll touch on that a bit later on. Happy New Year, Martin Ryan. Is good comment here. Alex Robertson gave the best all-round midfield display I've seen for many years. If he plays like this consistently, we'll only get better in 2026. I don't know what you both have made of Alex Robertson since he's managed to get back in the team, but he certainly, I mean, with his goal as well, Mark, as you touched on earlier, he certainly injected a little bit of extra craft, a bit more threat around the goal, I think, and certainly he puts a foot in midfield too.
He does, and he got off to such an odd start to the season where we thought we'd never see him in a shirt again, you know, and yet he's grasped his opportunity. Whatever he's done whatever's gone has gone, and he's been given a clean slate, and he's taken a chance, and yeah, it's again almost like a new signing midway through the season, really, because he just wasn't in the match day squad at all for the first part of it, and we were all baffled as to why. So yeah, no, he's terrific. I think that probably means I wrote down a list of people who I thought we would probably need. And I don't think we need a central midfielder anymore. I think the central midfield looks after itself. They know what they're doing. There's rotation there, and it's achieving the results. So I don't think with Robertson stepping up, you know, he's our player as well. I want him to continue because he is one of the players that absolutely could do a job in the Championship if we get there next season.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
but I think on the Barry Murphy, absolutely he's going to be our manager, because I think whilst it's nice to have him linked, there's a massive gulf between top of Division 3 and going to somewhere like Celtic, and you know, he's not going to get anywhere near those other jobs that are being spoken about. So he will be our manager until the end of the season. We'll get promoted and we'll give him a season at Championship level, and we'll see what he does with that, because I think we would need something to go with this champion. Let's not worry about that too much now, but we would definitely need some players coming in if we went back up to that level.
Yeah, and the good thing as well, and I was thinking about this driving back last night, is we've still got Ruben to come back. I think he's back the end of January, early February night. I think I saw. I'm not sure.
Apparently his recovery is going very well, isn't it? But obviously it's going to take him a few weeks to get back training again and up to match fitness, sharpness. But that's isn't that another great sign with this season, that when he went out and we were told he was going to be out for 2-3 months, we all felt it was disaster. And if anything, they've just got stronger and stronger. Kellyman has stepped in and done really well. Dave Turnbull, who wasn't impressing me at all up until the last few weeks, seems to have transformed. He's not the greatest midfielder we got, but he's certainly excellent. Most other League One clubs would love to have him, and he's doing really well. Wintle has been on another level, hasn't he? And now Alex Robertson is showing us why we all, most City fans wanted to see him play, and we couldn't work out why he wasn't around. And seeing some of his comments last week, he didn't really want to talk about what had gone on. I do think there had been some issue behind the scenes. We probably never know what it was about, but thank God they sorted it out, because he's a gem of a player, and he makes Cardiff tick in that midfield. He's been a missing link for us, I think.
Yeah. And what about just to touch on the game yesterday? And you've seen the goal, obviously, Mark, as well. But Captain Fantastic. I mean, a lot of people a lot of my friends, City fans, started the season. Callum Chambers, they wanted Callum Chambers gone. And I thought, well, he could offer something with his experience and his guidance, because he has played the Premier League. Don't forget, hasn't he? He's played with the Arsenal, I think, didn't he? You know, and yesterday I thought he was and take his goal aside, I thought he was really good at the back. The way he was pushing through. Okay, he's not the quickest coming through with the ball, and he won't put those, but he was pinging balls. You know, fair play. I was watching him yesterday, pinging balls. You know, diagonals. Very nice yesterday. And there's a quote here from him, which I pinched this morning. And this is it. Just see what you think was. You've probably seen this. Last season was tough. This is from Chambers now. Last season was tough, but the turnaround from the boys and the mentality that we have in the squad is now a credit to everyone. The manager especially. To be able to hit the ground running like we did and implement that shift in mindset is a huge credit to him. So that's come from Chambers.
Totally agree. I think I'm right in saying that when he joined us, that's the first time he's dropped below the top tier of football when he dropped out of Villa.
Did he play for the Swans as well for a little period as well, going back? Or did I get that wrong?
I better be careful. I
don't think he did. I don't know.
He better not have done. If he has, he's crept under the radar.
Yeah, just starting to like him at all.
Yeah. I mean, somebody I didn't catch the name of who appeared across the bottom, but talked about leaders. You know, coming into the team, and we were totally lacking leadership last year, and suddenly we've got 2 or 3. There we go. Yeah, Martin. So, absolutely. Chambers, Wintle, those players have stepped up. Robertson has clearly decided the right way to behave. Whatever's happened is to do it on the field. That's the best way any footballer can prove their worth, and that's exactly what he's done. So. Yeah, I think we have leaders have emerged. Would have been nice to have had a few of those, last season, but we're reaping the rewards now, and that can only stand us in good stead for the rest of the season. And he is. I still think, Chambers, if he comes up against a really big striker and they knock it over the top, he's not the best at turning, but he's quicker than me. But he's
well, that's what I like.
But you sometimes think, he's a bit vulnerable. And I think at the start of the season there was that link with Osho, when that just wasn't working for either of them. And it appears, I think I heard somewhere that Osho is very, the club's very keen for Osho to step in, and he wants to show in his desire to show people he's a better player than perhaps the start of the season suggested. So, I think Chambers has stepped into that, and he's turned a large, amount of our support around in saying he's probably getting close to the first name on the team sheet. And suddenly that list I talked about before, I had a centre back on that list. I don't think we need another centre back either.
No, I don't. Me too. And you mentioned another name there, Mark, who was, we all know he was off on loan last year. Ryan Wintles has been a revelation this year, Nige.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's probably the best sort of midfielder in the division at what he does. I would say that Max Power at Bradford, I really rate as well, who does a fantastic job for them. But he's transformed. Again, we talked about Chambers. He did seem a little bit lost last season. Wintle and NG, they were players who clearly lost their form. I don't know, and not happy about the running of the club, things that were going on last season. And, Wintle was sent away to Millwall, wasn't he? If you can remember 2 seasons ago, around this time of year, he was getting involved in arguments during the game with fans in the crowd. And you remember that in the Millennium stand? So, I think that both of them have got back to concentrating on their football. NG I used to watch last season, and he spent half his time just watching how he could antagonise one of the forwards. He's not now. He's playing football. He'll still do it occasionally because that's part of his game. But, he's concentrating on his football, and they're all really enjoying what they're doing. And I know we've spoken on this show before, Steve, and I used to say last season, it must be the most thankless job in the world playing midfield for Cardiff last season. And you look at it, you just had Kanga in front of you. There was nothing else, was it? Did you notice yesterday against Wigan, we had 2 players loaded up on the touchline on either side of the pitch?
Yeah.
So we have 4, So when these midfielders like Wintle gets the ball, he'll recover it. He's got 5 or 6 options in front of him. Last season, it was 1 half the time.
Yeah, no, you're right there. Nice comment there. Thanks for all the messages. Keep them coming in, guys. And we'll get through as many as we can. This is Ian Williams on the screen there, boys. BBM's changes to the team on a weekly basis, where he's come under stick on quite a few forums, and now coming to fruit with all the games we've been playing, which we touched on earlier, Ian, to keep players sharp. And he's rotated quite a bit, especially over the last week or so, hasn't he?
Yeah, great. I totally agree with Ian. He's spot on. You know that there was a few sort of Tinkerman comments and here we go again, but he needed to do that over the Christmas period. Bagan got rested completely from the squad, and it was like, oh God, what are we going to do now? And the reality is that they came through it. And the more of that squad that's playing regularly, the better it is. For all of those players, it's almost like they all know they're going to get some game time. So they sort of trust the way BBM is handling it all. So I think it's absolutely stood us in good stead and shows that the vast majority of us don't know what we're doing because we're not managers and ears.
I just to go back onto yesterday as well. I mean, it was 1-0, but if you think about, and you've seen the highlights, I know, Mark, and we were there, Nige. But if you think about their keeper again had another unbelievable game yesterday, didn't he? He was saving even that deflection in the second half. He managed to arch back and push that up over the bar. He saved them from getting a 4 or 5-0 yesterday.
Yeah, Mr. Tickle, he was good with his hands, isn't he? He was fantastic. But I've never seen a more one-sided game. I think I've seen Cardiff play Welsh League teams and not have a one-sided game like that over the years. Was it 82% possession? We had one corner kick for every percent of possession Wigan had. And then you had, Chambers had 30 more touches than the entire Wigan team. They had 94 passes in 90 minutes of football. But they were staggeringly bad. I think that's the worst side or the worst performance by a side to come down to Cardiff in years. They had no intentions, no ambitions, no anything, did they?
No.
It was just a
pity.
The first half shot. Trott actually made one good save in the first half, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
But other than that, they offered nothing.
No, it was a pity, really. We didn't get that second goal and a couple more, to be honest, because the performance yesterday warranted a 4 or a 5, really, maybe even a 6. But we are, I think, even though I don't want to criticize, because you think about the age of the team and the transformation from where we were last season. The only little criticism, if you want to chip one in, is maybe the crosses could be a bit better from the flanks. I think we tend to catch the first man quite a bit, and I think we've missed a couple of chances that we probably should have scored as well. But and there comes the question there, and I think it was Reese that was asking, do we need anyone in the transfer window? It's Lee, in fact.
Lee Griffiths, I think it was.
Yeah. Now the window's open. Where, if possible, do you think we need to strengthen it? And he's asking for because there was rumours about that kid from the City kid that went to Manchester United, wasn't there?
Enquiries, is it? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Cherry. Yeah.
I agree with Lee. I think we do need a striker. I think when we talk about, if we get time, we probably ought to talk about Callum Robinson's miss at Wickham at some point. That'll. And he apologised, and fair play to him. But I think so. Of my list that I've spoken about a couple of times now, definitely a striker on there. I think we need somebody that's a little bit more clinical. And that's not a criticism of Salek. I think he works his socks off for the club. It's been a long time since we had a striker that worked as hard as he does and gets absolutely no thanks for it in terms of the way he's refereed. I mean, the booking the other day, he's being hauled over. I think I saw a tweet from the club at one point. He got a yellow card in the other way for the world's longest shirt pull, and they're literally dragging him to the floor. He miscontrols once and takes a yellow. And
yellow card.
Yeah. So the need of a striker is not a criticism of the other players, but I think if we're going to start to prepare ourselves and think about the Championship, and Reece talked about us being comfortable in the Championship and being more clinical, I think that also comes with somebody up front that can take us where we need through the rest of this season and think about where we're going to be next season. I really do. And Robinson does a good enough job, but we're just not clinical enough right now. And the miss from Robinson's been, I think, unhappy that he's not getting start time. But if he is, he needs to come on and score one of those chances and show it from there. He can't keep moaning. Not that he's doing it publicly, but he can't complain that if he's given half an hour and misses 2 golden opportunities and we draw the game 1 each. That's my view.
I thought he did when he came on yesterday, Nigel. I thought he did okay yesterday.
He did.
He looked lively, didn't he?
Yeah, and there was one moment where he brought the ball down on his chest, shot on a turn, and it was only a foot or 2 wide. That would have been a beautiful goal if that had gone in.
Yeah.
I do think I agree with Mark. We do need another forward. Salek in particular. We talked about rotating the squad.
Yeah,
but he's the one player who's not. He's the one player who's not being rotated at the moment. And to me, it looks like those games told on him a little bit over Christmas. He wasn't quite the player he was before Christmas. I know he scored against Stevenage, didn't he? Or Exeter rather. But yeah, he has looked a little bit jaded. And I don't think we need to bring in a star striker. We just need an extra body more than anything else.
A backup.
Yeah, because I think they'll still be the main men, Salek and Robinson, but we just need another option in there. So it might just be, BBM's got a really good contact at Man City, or, Biancheri at Man United. If it might just be just what we need, really. But yeah, I would say we need one there. I would have said we needed a winger, but Ollie Tanner's now back, and you do wonder if he can do it. The one thing with Ollie Tanner, we talked about the standard of crossing, which for me isn't good enough. Too many get cut out, and we still play too many sort of aimless floating balls into the middle. Very little we put in with pace, or we drive into the box. Tanner offers that, but I do think that's what we're missing there. And clearly we do need cover for Bagan. I know NG stepped in for 1 game, but
I thought that
we do need another left back in.
Definitely agree.
You need a left. It's a keeper, especially the way we're playing. Like we mentioned earlier with the overloads on both sides. It's key that you got a left footer on there. And he must realise that. I think. So when Perry played there at Wickham, was it the Wickham game? He played left back. Where did he cover? Where they left Bagan out? It was Wickham, wasn't it? I can't remember.
It was Wickham. Yeah, he rested him all together, didn't he? Yeah.
It's just that the balance then of the team is upset a little bit, because obviously Perry's natural inclination is to come in because he's right-footed. Whereas Bagan can bomb on down the line and can whip that ball over. So we do need
your tremendous amount of overlaps he offers as well, which you didn't always see from Bagan before, but he's developed so much this season and come on so much. To me, he's our player of the season so far. I know we got other players who offer more star quality, but I think his performances have been bang on pretty much every match.
Yeah, there's a great question from Lee. Keep them coming in, guys, the messages. Let us know what you think about yesterday's game and how we did over Christmas. Lee says, does Ruben come back in the team at a 10 ahead of Kellyman? At the moment, he says no.
I would say of the 2 players, who looks the most expensive if you're going to buy them? Because I can't buy this 19 million for Kellyman in what I see, right? And so I'm not sure I agree with Lee. I think I probably would give Ruben the chance, because I don't. Kellyman for me doesn't quite do enough.
Would they put? Do you think it could be in BBM's mind to, if and when Ruben is fit, then to put him back in the 10 and push Kellyman, have him as a spare central striker?
It could be. On my list is, we talked about the fullback. I won't go into it. Definitely a fullback. I still think we do need a winger. I do. I think, again, not so much a criticism of the others, but we just need. He always talks about bringing somebody that's going to improve the quality. And they'll only come in if they're better than what we got. I think there are better players out there than what we've got now. I think about the goal that we scored at Wickham was the type of cross I want to see. It didn't lead to the goal because Salek didn't quite get to it. But Willock picked it up and smashed it in the far corner. But we haven't had enough of that type of ball for Kellyman to go in and really cause problems. Now, we didn't score directly, but it did result in a goal. And that is what I want to see more of, because we're not getting the best out of Salek. with the quality of crosses that we're getting, because he's a nightmare to deal with the right ball. And those floated ones are not helping him because he's just getting outmarked.
Yeah. That's a good comment there from Martin again. Nige, Ruben, in his opinion, is a more complete player than Kellyman. If he played Sunday, we wouldn't have won by only 1 goal. What do you reckon, Nige?
Yeah, I tend to agree. For me, he's more creative than Kellyman. But Kellyman has come on tremendously, I would say, over the last 6 weeks. What I do think with Kellyman is you don't get a 90-minute performance out of him, do you? He's generally gone after about 60, I would say. Yeah. So I think, I think when he's back, I would start with Ruben, but then you got Kellyman on the bench to come on for the second half, final half hour. And as we've seen with Cardiff, that bench is so critical to us. When you look at our bench each week compared to other teams, we're way ahead of other clubs in this division, the options that we have. And it's told a number of times for us this season, hasn't it, that some games you've seen them sort of, they've needed them to come on that last half hour to win the game, as we saw it against Stevenage, as we saw it against, who did we win late against recently? Was it Exeter? It was after the changes were made. Yeah. It's generally the last half hour of the games where we get really strong and turn it on. And it's always when we make those changes on the hour.
Yeah. It's generally 60 minutes. He left it a bit later yesterday.
He did. Yeah, he waited till about 70, I think.
Yeah, I think, to be fair to Kellyman, just to come back to your comment about the 60 minutes performance, he's had a struggling time with injuries.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt that he came to the club to find some fitness, and he is getting stronger all the time. I just feel he comes across for me as he's got the sort of player that, with the physique he's got, that he's going to be super rapid. And I don't think we've seen that from him. There's a couple of times when we've had breakaway chances in the second half and you think, I'll just put your head down and run at them. And he hasn't wanted to do that. He sort of stopped and play it. And so I think starting with Ruben and bringing Kellyman on is potentially a way forward. But then you've also got to look at it and say, well, what does that mean for Kellyman's career? Because I've said it a couple of times, this is Division 3. And if he's not able to hold down a starting point at Division 3, what does he do next? Because he's not going to go and get first team, start times at Chelsea.
Yeah.
He's got very quick feet, hasn't he? That's what.
Skilled.
Not always perfect, but his speed of movement with his feet is. And do you know what? Yesterday, I know it was a 1-0, scrappy 1-0, but some of our play yesterday, particularly by Keane Ashford and Willock and Kellyman, some of the skills and touches and flicks and tricks they did were outstanding. They're way above League One level. And Keane Ashford has struggled, hasn't he, in the first half of this season? But the last few weeks, he's really impressed me. I think he's come on tremendously.
Funny enough, I was talking to a couple of blokes at half time yesterday. Well, actually, at full time. And one of the quotes, it was interesting, as well as Keane Ashford's playing, this was one of the quotes, as well as he's playing, I don't think he put one decent cross in all game yesterday.
Yeah.
But he did have a good game, but it's just that final ball, Nige. Come on.
At times, I don't think we can commit enough players into the penalty area. And I think I've heard BBM mention that once or twice recently. Yes. So we had those. I mentioned yesterday. We had earlier. We had those 4 men out on the touchlines yesterday, and half the time there was still only Salak in the middle. When you got 4 guys sort of teeing up, and then there's all this interplay around, isn't it? And they're sort of reversing it and going again and everything. But at times, I do think they need to be a little bit sharper, commit a bit more men into the box a bit quicker. Because I think when you've got teams like we saw yesterday and we're doing everything in front of them, they compact, don't they? And that makes it so much harder, when if we're not getting enough bodies in the area and they've got 8 or 9 back, it's very hard to create those chances. And I think we do see some of that. And that's something that they need to try and improve a bit on. But, we're only asking them to improve on something they're doing brilliantly already.
Yeah, it's getting the likes of Joel Colwell, and okay, he missed that chance against Wickham, which he probably realizes he should have just placed. But he will bomb on in front of the forwards, and same with Alex Robertson. We need more of that, as you said, Nige, to get players in the box. So when they've got their 5 and their 6 6 defenders and plus in the box, then we've got bodies in there as well. And then if you're pinging shots in, they can go off someone's backside, as we know, and that's what creates more goals. Good point there from Reese. I presume you're talking about Ruben there, Reese. Reminds me of Thomas McPhail where he drops in. The thing is with Ruben Colwell, he's very good at putting those concise passes through, which I don't think Kellyman has quite got in his armory. Kellyman's very nimble, like we said earlier, and good with his feet. But Ruben can put those killer balls through, can't he? I don't know what you both think about that.
Yeah, I think I think come back to the goal that Kellyman scored against Doncaster, where he's cut inside, and he's actually had a shot. Right, and it goes in, but he's got himself into that position numerous times and hasn't decided to have a go. I noticed, I think after yesterday's game that Barry Murphy said that Vincent Tam would be happy because he's obviously been telling them to shoot from outside the box a little bit more. And Vincent clearly knows his stuff, right? Because we're all screaming for it, right? The amount of times that the social media were putting the word shoot on the, because I think the crowd were all getting behind Chambers. Obviously, I wasn't there yesterday, but it was clear that having scored a goal, they said, have a go. So, all this criticism of Vincent Tam, we need to think about it. He's a football genius.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's the old adage, isn't it? Yeah, if you don't buy a ticket, you'll never win the raffle. And I think we get into some really good positions, and that there just seems to be that little element of fear, Nige, that they don't want to pull the trigger. They'll go back in the triangles again, and then we'll end up going backwards.
Yeah,
we should have got one away.
It always looks like they're trying to score the perfect goal, doesn't it? Rather than do, get more of what we would call the basics, really, isn't it? Your bread and butter football. But if they can do it in 40 passes rather than 4, they'll go for 40. It seems at times. But I do think as teams get more and more compact against us, and they come down here entirely to defend, we've just got to be a little more creative and thoughtful in how we attack them, because it can be a little bit one-dimensional at times. As good as it was yesterday, there was a reason that Wigan keeper, as good as he was, probably had 3 saves in the entire match, 3 or 4.
A couple more, maybe. I
think we had 17 shots, 18 corners, 82% possession. Yeah, you would expect to see him worked a little bit more than he was, but he did make a couple of fantastic saves. Can't take that away from him, but you would want to see him worked a little bit more than that for the possession that we had. And likewise at Wickham, we had plenty of chances there, but that keeper had 2, 3 saves to make. I can't even remember. It wasn't many.
Yeah. With all those stats you just mentioned, Nigel, there's this. I'm not a fan of it because I don't understand it. But this XG rating, right, was only just over 1, because I made a point of writing it. So we had all of those other statistics, but then that all computes to another statistic to say actually we weren't all that threatening.
No. What was Wigan's a minus number? Was it?
I haven't checked actually. I'll check now. But it's all about being clinical. The crosses again. It just crossed my mind listening to both of you talking. Then was Turnbull's goal against Chelsea. What a great cross that is, and a great header. Alec would be screaming for chances like that, and he just doesn't get many of them. He does get them now and again, but it's so infrequent it almost catches him out.
Breaking news.
Having said that, I was just going to say,
go on.
I was just going to say with Salah, I think he's a bit off form. He's had the chances the last of the Christmas period to probably scored about 3 or 4 or 5 goals, and he's fluffed a few headers, hasn't he? And then other times, which I haven't seen him doing earlier this season, he's now looking to lay it off to someone else. And headers are back. And I think that's where he's just a little short on confidence at the moment.
Might be, good point, that is, Nige. He needs to be a little greedier, I think. That's all, and a bit more confident. But especially with those headers, if you think back like the likes of Toshak and people like that, they would bust the net with him.
Peter Thorne.
Yeah, just a bit more practice maybe.
Yeah.
Halftime oranges, happy new year. Every scout manager and EFL club owner must have eyes on the city now, pondering what we are doing differently, that we need to be, and that's very true. But the good news is, and thanks to Martin for this, the breaking news is you can cross BBM off the Celtic list because Martin O'Neill's been named their manager. That's their 4th manager of the year up in Celtic. Unbelievable.
Well, that was this time last year, wasn't it?
I mean, Martin O'Neill was there as a caretaker, wasn't he? Just a couple of weeks back. Yeah,
I think it's an indicator. We're going to go off tangent a little bit now, but I think it's an indication that there's so much money in football now that 6 matches or 8 matches make a massive difference financially, which is why we're getting such a merry-go-round of sackings. You know, you're never going to get an Alex Ferguson anymore. You're not going to get an Arsene Wenger because everybody demands the very, very highest finish, and when you're not quite there, you're just sacked. You know, and if there's an inkling, like at Celtic, if you're not going to get above Rangers, or if there's an issue, you might not. You're gone. You know, and the guy had eight games. Was it 10 games?
33 days, I think it was.
What's the point of that? That's just embarrassing. You know, it's the sort of thing. You know, we've gone through it ourselves as a club.
Yeah.
You know, we were consistently working out who's it going to be, 2 managers or 3 managers. You just can't do that. You know, and Barry Murphy was never going to drop down to Celtic anyway. So we you know.
No. But it's good that
would have thought Cardiff City would be a model of stability, eh?
It's good that he's off the list, isn't it? Good point from, and I thought this as well. Martin says yesterday Robinson should have come on a bit earlier, and I was saying to my son next to me, let's get Robbo on, give him a bit more time. But as we said earlier, nights they only had about 18, 19 minutes yesterday. He left it. It's unusual for BBM to leave it that late, to be honest, but he did yesterday. So, but interesting point there. And here's a good one as well from Reese. Happy with, when we touched on this earlier too, Nige, happy with Tanner's sort of crosses. He drills the balls into the box rather than the slow floating balls in. Do it get a deflection, you get a chance. And just while we're talking about crosses, I want to mention Willock, who I think's been really good out in, maybe again crosses, but he's really good on the ball, and he just adds that extra little bit of nous for me. I don't know what you both think out there. Yeah. He's got a little bit of craft. You know, he did jinx and he leaves the ball. Don't know what
he works that triangle really well. You know, when it doesn't quite work out, I think he's got a better ability to maneuver the situation where he finds himself in space and the other players can read him. I think his ability to keep his eye along the line and make that diagonal pass and make sure that he works some situation. I think he's come on leaps and bounds. Again, he was a villain for us, wasn't he? You know, people didn't want him anywhere near the team.
Yeah, he was on the villains list. He was on the naughty list with Chambers and Wintle.
They all were, though, weren't they? When you get relegated, we didn't want any of them, right? So, but fair play. He's taken his chances. He's stepped up, and you're going, would I want Willock in the team in the Championship? Yes. Yeah, in a squad player, yes. I don't think I'd want to see any of this squad released.
Yeah. That first half yesterday, I was watching Willock and Bagan when they were loading up on Jamie Carragher's boy, wasn't he, the centre half, and they're right back, and they had him on toast, and you could tell if you can remember, Carragher decided to go down and get a tactical injury halfway through the first half because they were completely knackered by what Willock and Bagan were doing to him. He goes off Carragher to, you know, they go for the water break, don't they? And Carragher's off the pitch when Chambers went and got that goal. I thought, that's just desserts, isn't it? Because you just knew he was doing a tactical thing. But so they got talking to him about how they could deal with Willock and Bagan because they were causing chaos on that one side of the pitch, first half especially. Really good.
And that comment is amplified by Hugh Nicholas. Thank you, Hugh. Bacon has been class this season. And I don't know if you caught what we were saying earlier, but we all personally feel like we could do with a cover at left back because, I mean, apart from that, he's only been left out once, I think, this year, hasn't he, Nigel?
That one game. And, of course, Louis Giles, I suppose, would be the cover. He's now gone out on loan and they've brought back the other left back. They got back from Merthyr, haven't they? And he's gone to National League. So even the academy cover is not there this currently.
Yeah.
I would have thought those two players out is a signal that BBM is looking to bring someone in as cover, but you just need to get someone adequate, because it's going to be very hard to get a player from Man City, Chelsea, even their academy, when you can't guarantee them a game. They're not going to get in front of them again. So you just need someone who can, fill a slot potentially for the odd game for the rest of the season.
There's a great comment from Graham there. Hypothetical, but if this season's team played last season's team, what will the result be? I don't think our calculator goes up that far, does it? I'm not sure.
Well, I think if it was played this season, i.e. that the young team that we got now has matured, I'd be fairly comfortable that this season's team would win that fixture. They're also young, I think last season, were they ready? I don't know. I don't know the players well enough to suggest that they would have made a massive difference to us last season, but there were too many players in last season's side that just weren't up for it.
No.
Players like El Ghazi and stuff like that, where I still lose sleep over him, to be honest.
We won't remember too much about that. Good point though, Mark. Here's Reese here. No, you were bigging up Mr. Tan earlier. Careful now, Vincent will be refusing to sign Trot for 0 goals and 0
He's got a point. He's got a point. He needs to shoot more.
Yeah.
Shoot. I mean, to be honest,
he takes them on.
Yeah, jokes aside, I mean, key position, as we all know, is between the sticks. And fair play to Trot. He's been, even like yesterday night, you said earlier, he made that one save in the first half again, before we took control of the game. He's been really good between the sticks, hasn't he? Fair play.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he had no work to do yesterday, did he? Having that one save and then, just dealing with the occasional pass back and setting up the next move, getting things moving again. So it's, when he doesn't get too much work to do and he still produces a stop like that, and I thought it was a good save at the time. I've seen it on the highlights since, and I thought that's a great stop. Not in the tickle league, that one he made second half, but tremendous nevertheless. And these are the sort of saves that our goalkeepers weren't making last season.
No,
we had an Alnwick or a Horvath in. No matter how good we might think they are, they weren't stopping efforts like those.
Yeah, that's good points. Martin, another great point, Mark. Wigan had 3 centre-backs and they were very comfortable defending their box and very good at it. But I think we mentioned earlier, Mart, and I think we all agree here, we need to get more bodies in the box to put a bit more pressure on those 3 centre-backs. And I think the more bodies you can get in the box, then those 3 centre-backs then are under more pressure. Salek's up against it, isn't he, when you've got 3 big lumps like that. Don't know what you think, Nige?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most games he's up against at least 2 centre-backs, isn't he? And he's battling on his own. And support isn't always quick to get up to him. And then, 18... And, I think a telling thing yesterday was when we had the 18 corners, I can't really remember doing anything with any of them. Can you?
No, they were the corner. We need a bit of work. And throw-ins we need a bit of work on as well.
Yeah. So... but these are fine margins they can improve on, because we can see the football is there, the quality is there, and it's just getting that cutting edge in the final third now, isn't it? And that if there was one sort of criticism about the Christmas games, I did think they were lacking cutting edge in the final third. But we did score in every game. But we're capable of scoring double the amount of goals we did get in those 4 games.
There was a comment on just a little bit earlier. I can't remember who said about Willock having some great ability, beating his player for fun and whatever, but was his crosses good enough? And I think that really sums up us at the moment as a complete side, is that we are, here we go. Yeah, it was Martin again. So the point there being that it's just that final quarter even. We're great up until the final third, but just that little bit of magic is missing from what we've got in the squad today, which is why I do have one winger on the shopping list for January to say, let's bring somebody in. There's got to be better, and Murphy says that he'll only bring players in that are better than what we've already got. If we could, I think that would make quite a bit of difference in the quality in the final third, because I think Salek will put more in if he's given more chance and more opportunity.
Yeah, it's notoriously a tricky window though, January, and everyone's looking for someone to score goals. Everyone wants a winger to get the crosses in. You know, we're especially the teams down the bottom, but and the teams at the top. We're all looking to improve the side. So it's the quality which we mentioned earlier. We want to get quality in, but is it going to be there in the January window? It's debatable, isn't it?
It is debatable, but we've got spare loans to use. You know, we might as well try in that window, and I'm sure they are. You know, there's obviously stuff going on behind the scenes, that the use of the loan market, getting somebody in that's perhaps not getting game time at Premier League level or top of the Championship to come in and say, you know, come and join a promotion run-in. You know, in with us. You know, I think players who are not playing, there's big enough squads out there that I think Barry Murphy will have a couple of players. A striker, a wing, and a fullback, and I'll leave January happy, I think.
Jamie's on. Hi, Jamie. Happy New Year. I think we all get emotional during games. Everyone maybe frustrated, everyone included. But we're top, playing well with a young team consisting of our own players, and that's one of the key things. You know, when I first started watching the City, we had all like local players like Joey Dwyer in the side. You know, all those local boys. Ledley coming through a few years later. It did not make a difference when we got your local players in the team, you know, as well. And we haven't really spent that much. Keep going, lads. He says some of the football we're playing is absolutely great, and it is. It's like we touched on the top of the show, boys. It's been a total transformation, hasn't it? You know, and the turnaround, if you think about it, in 4 or 5 months is quite remarkable, really, isn't it? It is.
Yeah, it's outstanding. I mean, yesterday at times it was like exhibition stuff, wasn't it? It didn't feel like at times it did feel like I was watching the Harlem Globetrotters of football. You know, some of the things that were going on there, but you know, it's that lack of the end product. But and it was quite strange yesterday, wasn't it? The atmosphere was quite subdued. I think it was partly because it was so blinking cold down there as well. And you know, there were a few people sort of moaning because we weren't killing the game off, but. I think you've just been enjoying that.
You want to come over to the prawn sandwich side. We have a coffee at half time, feet up on the table. When we go in, we have slippers. I have a chat with you.
Little blanket.
Some great comments tonight. Thanks for all the comments. Really, really busy, and I haven't been able to keep up with them. But hi from Newcastle, interesting chat. I saw something today. I don't know if you're a Newcastle fan. Wonderful horseshoe, but Eddie to Manchester United. I saw.
Eddie Howe.
Eddie Howe, yeah, which is going off topic a little bit, but I don't know. Well, there we go. I don't know if that's going to come off, but there we go. What we got here? CDM cover as central defensive midfielder. I presume that could be Jonathan. I don't know. Cover is important as a left back cover. We don't have anyone who can do the job Wintle does. It's a good point, actually.
I don't know. I don't think there's that much wrong with our midfield, if I'm being honest. I thought there was, but with Robertson there and with Ruben to come back, I don't know if there's space for anybody else to come in and make that much of a difference. You know, Turnbull, I think, is a different player since he scored against Chelsea. You know, they're all maturing. I just don't think that's a priority. If we bring one in, fine. I just don't see that as an immediate priority than getting that final clinical bit up front that I think is just slightly missing. Jamie makes a great point. We are playing great in terms of we've got the ball. You can't concede goals if you've got the ball for 82% of the time. Yeah. But can we stick it in the back of the net more than once to avoid that nasty hiccup like we had at Wickham?
Yeah, great point from Jonathan there. Christmas games very close together, and I think what the stat was you came up with earlier, Nigel. We played X number of games in a short space of time. Crazy. Only us and Crystal Palace. Not much time to get the boys on the training pitch between the. It's a very good point. That is, you don't think of things like that, do you? I mean, by the time they recover after the game, you know, there's another game coming, and then there's another game coming.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, as a supporter, I found that quite hard going through those 4 games 3 days apart. With a game 3 days later, another game. That was quite hard. Just And one of them I watched on the box, I didn't go down there.
he only just about managed to get the Christmas Day swimming at Barry Island, but I did.
Yeah, I did. Got that in. I got that in before the Wickham game. But yeah, no, they're quite right. That was a hard programme. I mean, Cardiff, I think, were a bit lucky because 3 of the games were at home. They didn't do a lot of travelling over the Christmas New Year period, which probably helped them a little bit. But even so, that's steady testing, isn't it, with families and everything going on in their life. I think it was just a case, play a game, check them next day, give them a sort of rub down massage, and they go again. He looks who's ready and who's available. I don't think there would have been a lot of training going on.
No. Busy January coming up. Just ahead, we've got about a few minutes left. One of my favourite games at the City Stadium this year was the 4-3 against Orient, which was a real humdinger of a game. And I completely lost my voice and couldn't do my job then for a couple of days, but there we go. But Orient away on Saturday. And I was particularly impressed with, I think there was 2 lads up front, Ballard and Connolly.
Aaron Connolly, yeah.
Aaron Connolly. Those are the couple of good players up front this year, Nige, but those 2 particularly impressed me that day, and I thought they were a very good side. And Orient have come through a little bit in the last couple of weeks, so it's going to be a tricky game on Saturday. Is it Brisbane Road, Orient?
It is, yeah. Have you been there, Mark?
Yeah, I have many moons ago, but
going on Saturday?
I'm not. Do you know what? I got a little bit frustrated with them charging 32 quid for seeing fans to
crazy
go
money.
there. And I thought, well, by the time me and my 2 lads go, that's 96 quid to go and watch a Division 3 game.
Yeah, and your grub and your drinks and.
Well, that's it. Yeah, it's London. That's what did Neil Warnock used to say? We're in London. That's the difference.
But can we beat them? Are we confident for the game on Saturday? I mean, thinking about the way they played down here, I think it's going to be quite an open game. They'll have another go at us for sure. Yeah,
I think I prefer teams to have a go at us because I think it gives us a little bit more room to play. So I think it's one of those things where you kind of not so much throw the dice, but you're saying, well, if they come out at home and have a go at us, then we're going to have room to play, and so we'll have no excuse. It might be another 4-3.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think either way. Yeah, Ballard's a great player. I think he's one of the best players in League One, and he's destined to go up a division after this season. Connolly was interesting because he was at Hull and was really good striker at Hull, but he had a lot of problems with alcoholism.
He likes to drink, doesn't he? Yeah.
So he was in a drying out clinic for quite a bit last season. So I think that's why he's dropped down a level. But he's a terrific striker. But the blessing with Orient is they're great going forward. They're terrible at the back, aren't they? So it's definitely not going to be a 0-0 on Saturday. There probably will be goals. But they're a bit rusty at the moment, didn't they? Orient, they lost. Did they lose 3-1 to Wimbledon last game at home?
Oh, I didn't see.
I think it was on New Year's Day. I think Wimbledon won their 3-1. Yeah. So they will always let in goals. So as long as we can keep it tight, as we have been reasonably the last couple of games, I'm sure we're going to get our chances and should get the goals at the other end.
I mean, they're only 1 point above the drop zone, aren't they? I've just having a quick check, and they were quite low when we played them. I think they were even the bottom 3 when we played them, and it was as you say, it was a cracking game. And you think, well, I'm grateful we got 4-3 out of it, but we shouldn't have been conceding 3. But it was a crazy game.
So, score predictions for Saturday then: Brisbane Road, Leighton Orient, Cardiff City. Mr. Mark Blackmore,
3-2 away win.
Ooh, bold. Yeah. Nige?
0-0. No, I fancy a nice little win. I think it'll be 3-1 City.
3-1 City. Yeah, we'll take that. Hey, it's been a great to see you guys. Good start to the new year. And the good news is Steve's away. Well, it's not good news. I mean, I didn't mean that, Steve.
Rephrase that.
Again.
We'll be here again. Well, the phone-in's here every Monday, boys. That's
He's still on his retirement road tour, is he?
Yeah. I think he is. Yeah, I think.
Good on him.
Good for him. Yeah, seeing the sights. But thanks for your time tonight, guys. Great chat, and I hope you've enjoyed it, boys. And we'll do it all again next Monday from 7:00. And Happy New Year, Mark.
Yeah,
Cheers, everyone.
This channel is powered by an incredible membership community on Cardiff City World and patreon.com/AcePodcastNation. Becoming a member unlocks exclusive rewards from early access to live event tickets, bonus content, and even the occasional inside transfer scoop when we get it. But more importantly, it allows us to bring you top quality Cardiff City content 7 days a week. Across those 7 days, we're talking match previews, exclusive interviews, instant match reactions, the breakdown podcast, tactical deep dives, the spotlight series, Bluebirds Rewind, Academy Focus, and just so much more. Led by myself, backed by an army of passionate Cardiff City fans, this is content created by fans for fans. Balanced, professional, and 100% all about the club we all love. If you enjoy what we do, then join the community today and support what we are doing as we help to keep Cardiff City World flying high.